Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Studio K Photography. Little snowed in today. We got about another foot of snow on top of what we already had here in Burlington, so not going anywhere, and I thought what a better day to film a video than today. And what I want to talk about today is newborn sessions. I've had a lot of people booking newborn sessions here lately, and that's great because I love to shoot them, but I've also had a lot of questions about newborn sessions, so here we go. When my parents call to book their session, there are a few things that I always tell them to be prepared for and to do before I show up. And one of the things is the heat or air conditioner. If it's in the summer, what we'd like to do is warm the house up. Babies love being warm. So I tell everyone, either turn your heat all the way up, turn your air conditioners off, whatever you have to do. I like the temp to be around 80 degrees, 78. So whichever one it is, AC or heat, try to get it around that temp. So a lot of times that will mean adjusting the temperature about 2 hours before the session so the room has time to adjust. Another great thing to have is a space heater. I always bring one with me on my sessions, but two can't ever hurt. If I shoot here in the home, then I have upstairs in my home studio, I have a great small room full of windows that I like to use, and my little space heater up there, I turn it on a couple hours before the session, and it is really warm in there by the time the session rolls around. Usually I'm sweating by the time I'm done with that session. But if I do go to the client home, then I have them adjust the heat, and I bring my little space heater, and I'll just set the space heater as close as I can to the newborn so that way the hot air is blowing on it and making them all warm. When I am posing, I usually try to cover them up with a blanket or something. That way, they can just stay all nestled in and warm, and not being exposed to the cooler air for long periods of time does help them stay asleep longer. And that's the overall goal of the session, is to keep the baby asleep. And this is the number one way to do that, is to keep them warm. Another way to keep the baby asleep is feeding. Now, babies like to sleep. Normally when they're newborns, baby likes to sleep right after it's fed. So I tell moms to either feed right before I come over or right when I get there. Don't feel like you're bothering me by feeding when I'm there. That's totally fine. I spend lots of time on newborn sessions, and having you feed the baby during that time is not a problem. Another great tool to have is towels. I can't express how much these come in handy during a session, especially right next to where I'm shooting. If there's a towel sitting close to where I can reach, sometimes I can stop the baby from pottying everywhere, or all over the props or whatever, all over the blankets, if I have a towel right there. And don't think for a second, if you're a new mommy for a newborn, don't think that I've never been peed on, because it happens almost every session. I most likely will get peed on, sometimes poop on, and puked on. I promise you are not the first parents that's had a baby do that to me. It happened, all three of those happened my very first session, and I swore up and down I would never shoot another newborn session. When I left, I got home and I looked at the images, and they are just so sweet and so precious. I was like, how can I not keep shooting newborns? I've learned the tricks to, get over the peeing and the pooping and the puking, and how to stop it, and how to keep them nice and warm so they don't pee near as much. And those are all little tricks that will help, but it will happen no matter what. It will happen. So just be prepared for that, and don't be embarrassed, because it's not a big deal. Another great thing to do before the session is have your props ready when I get there. And we will talk about this in your pre-photo shoot consultation, what images you definitely want, whether it be like little helmets or hats or jackets or baskets or bowls. There's all kinds of different props you can use for a newborn session. And I just did a video not that long ago about props. So if you're questioning props, that would be a good video to watch. But if you have anything special to your family, go ahead and have them set out in the room that we're going to be using. That way, once I get the baby into the zone, it's kind of what I like to call it, we can just quickly switch out props, and there's no time wasted for someone trying to find the prop, or going out to the garage and getting it, or going up into the attic and grabbing it. They're all ready to go. A lot of times too, I've had families where they really want to use a certain bowl or basket or something like that, and they go get it out of the garage and it's really dirty, you know, so then we've only spent time going and getting it out of the garage, but we've also spent time cleaning it up. And I also tell families, you know, a newborn session is 90% trying to get the baby asleep and in the zone, and the other 10% is actually shooting. So if we can spend that time when the baby's asleep shooting rather than getting stuff ready, that is essential for, you know, the time that we spend together, making use of our time, I guess. Speaking of time, newborn sessions, I want everyone to be prepared and not freak out when the baby isn't going to sleep very quickly or anything. It takes a ton of patience, and that's something that I don't have a lot of other than with photography. I have tons of patience when it comes to toddlers, kids, and newborns, but be prepared to spend 2 to 4 hours on this session. A lot of times I'll shoot either morning or afternoon. That's usually how I book newborn sessions. I'll do one in the morning and one in the afternoon if I have to have 2 on the same day. And I devote that entire morning or afternoon to your newborn. I have had ones go about 3 hours and 45 minutes, and I've had one entire newborn session done in 30 minutes. It really depends on your baby. Like I said, 90% of the time is spent getting your baby to sleep, the other 10% getting your baby in the zone. Or once your baby is in the zone, the other 10% is the actual shooting. If your baby's in the zone, as soon as you get here, you feed her, him, we're shooting, and that zone is, that 10% done in 30 minutes, then you can go home or I can go home and it's over. I mean, it's that easy. But don't feel bad if your baby takes a little bit longer to go to sleep. It happens all the time. So, and probably the biggest question that I get about newborn photography, sorry, my baby is playing right below my feet. The biggest question I get about newborn photography is that when they should have the session. I have people that say, oh, okay, I want to book a month out for my newborn pictures. Well, if you want to book a month after the baby's born, that's great. I would love to come take pictures of your month-old baby, but that's not newborn pictures. I like to book newborn pictures up to 2 weeks after the baby is born. There's just a huge difference between even a month-old baby and a 2-week-old baby. They start kind of shedding their newborn skin. They get, like I said, peely, a little bit blotchier, and they kind of lose that little position that they love to sleep in, and you know, the all curled up position. They start spreading out, their arms start kind of stretching out, and they do start growing, and that's not something that you can get back. They won't ever be like that again. So it's really important to get them in that 2-week zone. Another big reason is they love to sleep. When they're a week old, that's what they want to do, is eat and sleep. When they're a month old, they start staying awake a lot longer. And a lot of parents, they don't necessarily think that's true until their baby hits 1 month, and they're like, oh, you're totally right. I am so glad I got their pictures taken 2 weeks after he was born. So, those are my major tips of newborn photography. If you have any questions, please email me, message me on Facebook, look it up on my blog, whatever. You can find all the information that I'm talking about today. You can either go to my website, which is studiokonline.com, my blog, studiokonlineblog.com, or you can find me on Facebook anytime. It's just, you can look up Studio K Photography. Zoe wants to go out and play, so I think we're going to get off here and go have some fun in the snow. I hope everyone has a great day and enjoy the snow day. Thanks.